Hi there, I'm Dr. Carol. I recently joined my friend Christy Lemley on her TV program, Living in the Light. I hope you enjoy this excerpt where I talk about why women's health topics tend to be such a big deal.
Dr. Carol, you've been an OB/GYN for 25 years, taking care of women. Why do you think the topics of women's health are so deeply important to us?
I think it's because of how close these issues come to our very core, our identity, who we are as human beings, who God created us to be as human beings, and especially as women. Think of the issues you normally imagine when you hear the phrase women's health. You probably think of things such as contraception or abortion or STDs or infertility, maybe insurance coverage. All of these are so closely related to intimacy issues, to our sexuality. They have a lot of emotional baggage accompanying them. They impact how we express ourselves as individuals, where we get our value from. Is it just from our physical body, or does it have to do more with who we are as human beings? I say in Dr. Carol's Guide to Women's Health, a healthy woman is so much more than her reproductive organs. And I believe that is so true. God created you and me as beautiful, whole, integrated human beings. When we are hurt, when sin messes with us in one area, it impacts all the other areas of who we are. Likewise, when God brings restoration and healing in one area, it begins to bring restoration and healing to all the other areas as well. And that's what God wants for you and me. With this integrated whole part of who we are, I think we can often put those in boxes and miss what it means in the whole picture. I think a great analogy is a loaf of bread. You can't separate the physical, emotional, relational, and spiritual parts of you from all the other parts any more than you can separate the flour, sugar, eggs, and salt from a loaf of bread. When I, as an OB/GYN physician, for example, see a patient, I can write a prescription for a contraceptive or for an antibiotic for an STD, but that addresses such a small part of the problem. There's, of course, the emotional weight of whatever the issue is. There's such a big impact on relationships with all this. And a prescription doesn't handle those relationship issues. There's also the spiritual effect on the very core part of who we are of these issues, and a prescription can't deal with that either. So often, when I see women in my office or talk to women on the radio or here or at a women's conference, shame and guilt come up when we talk about these issues. Maybe it's a wife who feels unloved by her husband because intimacy is so bad. Maybe it's a young wife who wants to have a baby and she can't, and her sense of shame is there. Maybe it's a young woman who feels like no decent man would want her now because of how she has behaved with intimacy in the past in other relationships. Shame and guilt are such a big part of these issues of women's health, and God wants to bring healing and restoration to all of it, and that's why we're here today.
Doing this program with Christy was a lot of fun. We talked about women's self-esteem, dealing with shame, and the healing that God wants to bring. And I shared some personal stories of women I've worked with. To see the full program, go to livinginthelight.tv and check out the program from July 24. And I know Christy would love to hear from you as well. You can also find a link to the full video on our website, drcarolministries.com/videos. Until next time, may God bless you. Now go and live well.